Good evening, Diecast fans. I'm Tom Spanners Watson.
And I'm Frank the Guru Gibbs.
Welcome to this week's DSPN report. As always, we've got a monster show for you, so strap yourselves in, get ready, and let's kick into it. First up in the news, we wanted to let you know that Canyon Outlaws is about to land at the Canyon. It is going to be an epic competition unlike anything out there, and we've got the NasCARNAGE series starting next week. Keep an eye out for that one. Then have a look at the showroom thread over on redlinederby.com. There are some amazing builds over there, and get yours in there as well. So there's lots to see. Make sure you check it out. And of course, don't forget the Diecast Racing report is out thanks to Kit KM. It's got some great articles in there.
Right, moving into the tips section, we've got a great one on affixing weights to vehicles. It's a forum over on Redline Derby. It's very interesting, and there's a lot of different tips and tricks there that you could pick up, especially if you're new to modding. You really want to check that one out.
Alright, let's kick into it. Into the drag racing tonight, and we kick off at Red Pill Racing for the continuation of the Charger Summer Series. So again, these are the top builders in the country racing, and you can see how close this racing is. It is very tight. These guys are very skilled builders, and they've built some beautiful cars. And of course, the Dodge Charger is one of my favorite all-time cars.
And then we head over to Rust Belt Racing, and Josh is back at the Skydrop this week. And there's some very tight racing there as well. You see this F40 here, just pips the Bugatti. Head on over and get your drag racing fill at Rust Belt Racing.
Then Mr. Mom's Racing continued on with their Flying Custom series, and we've said it before, we just love this track and we love the way it's filmed. It's a monster big track. Love the chase cam through here. It just really sells that sense of speed that these cars are traveling at, and that diorama down the side. Very, very cool. If you haven't checked out Mr. Mom's Racing, you definitely have to go and check it out.
And another long time diecast racer is Diecast RacerX. This week is running his drag course, and look how tight these times are. It's absolutely brilliant. So this is a short track, it is fast, and it is straight. No mucking around. Great amount of racing over on Diecast RacerX's channel. Have a look.
Then we head over to Michael's Diecast Garage. So he was the last track for the Charger Summer. This time he's doing the Redline Derby racing competition. So head on over and check that out. Again, some very, very tight racing. I mean, look at that. So close.
Alright, moving into the tournaments this week, we kick off with RTR Diecast Racing League and their Firebird versus Camaro head-to-head. And this week, there is some very tight racing, and he almost makes it right at the end.
Then something new over at Hot Car Track, the tow truck and service vehicle racing. Now this was really cool. I love the transit in the outside lane there that's getting absolutely smoked, but that new tow truck totally wipes out in that first corner. And then Big Nige from NZ Towing just cruises home in that transit. It's an absolute beauty of a wagon, and check this out. Just absolutely smokes it on that first turn, and yet the transit just cruises through.
And then we head on over to Jackson Pass Speedway, where our good friend Dr. Tom Spanners Watson was racing, wasn't he?
Yeah, I was, mate. And I gotta say, I love my Dodge Chargers, and this car was an absolute beauty. It held the track so nicely. There was a small incident there, and if you want to find out why I crashed, you want to go and check out the race itself.
And did you learn that move from Grandma, mate, knocking the guy into the wall?
Maybe. Now, speaking of Grandma, Tune Tracks Racing fired up their new track, and I've got to say, this track is absolutely gorgeous. Running the double curve track, but the outline of it is brilliant. And of course, I was racing there in our favourite Evo, and the Evo just doesn't disappoint. It's a beautiful car, it's fast, it's stable, absolutely love it.
And Beaverworks fired up their main track for the first time, and you see here in one of the qualifying, this Porsche absolutely getting chaotic, which you know we love. But then in the actual race against this van there, they were just all over the place. It was absolute chaos. Lots of cool stuff happening over at Beaverworks. They are just about set now with every type of track you could possibly want.
And then Widowmaker Run is continuing on with his series, and basically if it fits in the start gate, he will run it down this track. You've got a couple of these truck cabs here running down, and it's absolutely mental. Check that one out.
And then John Tran over at Transport Diecast Racing continues on with his series, and this was more qualifying through here. And this track is just beautiful. It's a lovely big track, lots of interest, lots of things going on. Check that one out.
And then we jump over to GNR Vintage Diecast Racing for their vintage car series, and these guys got loose. I don't know if you picked it up there, but you'll see someone goes off track and then slides around. Just brilliant. Love the big Kahuna track over at GNR. Check that one out.
Now, Fraser Ridge, it's Fraser Ridge Raceway, but the channel is DC World Racing, so make sure you're looking for the right thing when you're on YouTube. His series continues on, and there's some chaotic racing going on there, some high-speed passes, but a lot of carnage happening as well, particularly coming out of that tunnel. In fact, part of the tunnel came with one of the cars this time. Have a look at the racing. You won't be disappointed.
And then One Man Racing. So this was one of the ones we put into Track Spy a little while ago. This track is another gorgeously formed track, lots of interest, combination of laned areas and fat track, lots of carnage, lots of excitement, some great overtaking, awesome racing, love it, go and check it out.
Then we move into street racing, and we kick off with 3D Botmaker. Now this time it was the Evo's race, qualifying race 9, and check out this race here. There was some very tight racing, some blocking, and then absolute carnage. Cars go off the track. They were all over the place, but some very exciting racing this time around. Have a look at that one.
Then Simon over at Hot Car Track continued on with Road Warriors, and we've just got this race here with Mr. Bean and the Mini and the Buffalo, and oh, look at that overtake. Just stunning bit of driving by the Buffalo there. You see Mr. Bean comes down, gets loose, spins, and the Buffalo just picks his line absolutely perfectly, slides through.
We've got a little update here on Flat Rabbit. So his racing will launch tonight, and he almost got arrested going out this time. It's fantastic. I mean, who gets arrested doing diecast racing? That's just brilliant. These guys are really pushing the envelope, clearly.
And then DRC Racing continued on with their yard race series. They're into the semi-finals, and there's some brilliant racing on this track. Absolutely love it. These two cars here changed position a couple of times. A very, very tight race. It's a great track. If you haven't seen DRC, you definitely want to head over and check that one out.
Then Diecast Dragger kicked off his new series. This was the Friday Night Gang Wars, so this is a bit different for him. It's on his straight drag track, but he's running 4 cars down it, and you can see the total carnage that's happening going down here. I mean, 2 cars was crazy enough, but like adding 4 cars in is absolutely mental. It's brilliant. I love it.
And then there was a celebrity death match over at Chapman Films, and you see Magnum PI getting flung off the track.
Alright, moving into special events. It was the finals of the Sub 4RA Diecast Demolition Federation competition. And we've just got this one crash here to show you. It was our favourite from the competition. Just absolutely gets thrown up in the air and flipped off the track. It's just brilliant.
And then a Saturday night drive over at Live Young Diecast, obviously inspired by Stuntman Sam, decided they were going to try and jump some school buses. And you see this run here with the Ferrari, comes down, clips the side of the track, and then drives across the buses. But if you want to see if the driver can actually make it, go and have a look at their channel.
Now, this week, we had to feature Sharon Tarshish again, because this was him building a couple of cars that are coming over to the Canyon for the Canyon Outlaws. Now, this thing is absolutely stunning, and he's put his signature suspension in there. Now, this is the standard cars jumping, and then here's his suspension. Look at the difference that makes. This car just comes in from a high jump and just stops. It's brilliant. Then Hot Wheels boys are building a car to race over at Hot Car Track, and he's taking you through his whole process. So if you've never seen anybody custom build a car, it's a great series to catch up on, and it's pretty much live. And then Evo Sparks Diecast is a diecast review channel. This particular car, the CRV, is a 1/32nd scale vehicle. It's not a 1/64, but I love the way he does his reviews. Very realistic, some great camera work, and it's really interesting to see what other vehicles are out there in the diecast world. Go and check him out. There'll be a link in the description to the channel.
Now we head into tracks by. We've got 2 new tracks for you this time. First up, we've got Diablo Ridge Speedway. Now, these guys have a range of tracks. We love the carnage of the death track there, but then he's got fat track. They also do off-road dirt track racing, drag racing, all sorts. You definitely want to check that one out. Huge range of racing to watch. And then this one is still being built, but Diecast World Series is building a track that is going to be an oval track with the speed bumpers. So rather than having a drop down and in, they will have proper laps. So definitely one to keep an eye out on.
Alright, and stunt of the week has to go to Stuntman Sam. What he was trying to do was jump this Porsche onto the back of a flatbed truck and have the truck drive away. This was the one that didn't go quite so well.
And that is just a ridiculous amount of air. We've never had a car end up getting that much double air in the canyon. We've seen a few cars kangaroo, but that was ridiculous.
Yeah, he absolutely nails the back of that truck and just gets flung right up in the air. But you see it on this angle. Boom. He doesn't even land on camera there. It's ridiculous.
Alright, if you want to see if he makes the jump onto the back of the truck and makes the truck drive away, have a look at our channel, Stuntman Sam from this week. You won't be disappointed. Alright, that is enough for another week. We hope you've enjoyed it. As always, we work in association with redlinederby.com to bring you all of the racing news and information. If you've got a race, make sure you head over, put it on their channel in the race section. Thanks to all these channels for letting us use their footage. As always, we try to bring highlights for everything that's happening in the diecast world. If there's something we're missing, leave us a comment or comment on the DSPN forum over on Redline Derby. There's a link in the description. We try to feature as many different tracks and as much variety of racing as we can, but we can't always fit it in. Obviously, these shows get bigger and bigger every week. We try to keep it reasonable and watchable. So if we've missed your channel, don't take it personally. We're just trying to cram everything in. Alright, that's enough for tonight. I'm Tom Spanners Watson, he's Frank the Guru Gibbs, and we'll see you next time. And if you haven't spotted it, there is a secret link in this video to take you to some hidden footage. Check it out.